You're listening to the Tigers Den podcast. New episodes dropping every Monday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time, available to stream across all platforms. Also, be sure to check out Play Callers. New episodes dropping every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time, available to stream across all platforms.
Hello and welcome to the Tigers Den, episode 7. We got an amazing one coming your way with a surprise quarterback leading his team on Thursday, stellar college football matchups, along with MLB surprises, and a brand new segment on this episode. All that and more. Take him away, Reese, with the Weekend Rundown.
This is the Weekend Rundown. Hello, guys.
This is the Weekend Rundown.
I hope you guys are having a good weekend. Thanks, Taylor, for the intro. I'm going to get us started with some high school football. James Clemens and Sparkman.
Great game.
We picked that on Countdown. It turned out to be a very good game. James Clemens wins by 1 point.
Yeah, I got that one wrong. Y'all both got that right, too.
30.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, isn't that the one where you said, time to change the graphic?
No, that was Spain Park, which I did get right, by the way, but
yeah.
Keep going.
And as we know, Auburn beat Opelika. Me and Taylor actually got to be at that game. It was an exciting game, including Opelika's fans trying to storm the field with like a minute left, and that didn't work out too well.
Yeah, I actually talked to one of my friends that goes to Opelika that was actually in the front row when they were getting ready to storm the field before, Omar Mapson absolutely destroyed them. So.
Yeah, and then like Max said, he picked Spain Park to beat Tuscaloosa County. And Spain Park didn't disappoint, beating them 35-14 in Tuscaloosa County. And Max, like you told me on Saturday, you told me that Tuscaloosa County really, to you they're not that good, honestly. Like you said.
I said it on Countdown when they played Oak Mountain. They lost by one, or they won by 1 point, and Oak Mountain is horrible.
Yeah.
For reference, Oak Mountain lost to a 5A school. I think they've lost to a 5A school like every year now for the past 10 years. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Vestavia Hills keeps their season rolling. 45-21 win over Chelsea. No surprise there. Chelsea's not really that good. Vestavia Hills is probably. That's gonna be a very good playoff team. I can't wait to see them play in the playoffs. And
yeah, we're coming close on that. By the way, we're coming close.
Yeah, and Enterprise beat Prattville pretty bad. That was a blowout, actually, 49-17.
Yeah, I was completely wrong. That wasn't a trap game at all. So
yeah,
what
the Enterprise Prattville game? Remember how I said it was a trap game?
Yeah. And then
because you wanted to be a little bit different.
Yeah, basically. So.
Yeah. No, that most of those games though on Friday night there was a lot of close ones on Friday night that we picked for Countdown. But now I'm going to move into Saturday games. We had a lot of action in college football this week. The slate was full, and it was a very good slate this weekend. A lot of blowouts this weekend as well. Including the one I'm going to get started with. Number 1 Georgia blew out number 20 Kentucky in Athens, and
same every year.
Yeah, Brock Bowers carried the team.
Yeah,
7 receptions.
He's the only guy that what's his name, Carson Beck can pass to. So.
Yeah, we were actually at B-Dubs, and there was a lot of Georgians there at B-Dubs.
Yep, a lot of barking.
Yeah, and there was like a group of Kentucky fans that I think probably left after we did. So it was such a blowout. And then number 2 Michigan blew out Minnesota. And Max, you told me that game day, college game day, said that game was going to be close. And
yeah, no, I totally disagree.
Yeah, I disagreed too. Especially when Michigan scored 21 in the third quarter and scored 14 in the second quarter. That's too many points given up there. And college game day was at the Cotton Bowl, Texas State Fair, opened the 1st of October. With the Red River rivalry, it did not disappoint with Oklahoma upsetting Texas. We were kind of upset because our picks didn't go how we planned, especially with Texas losing.
Hey, but that could definitely be like one of the best. That's definitely one of the best games.
Yes.
So far,
Dylan Gabriel did not disappoint. Quinn Ewers did disappoint me with his 2 interceptions that he threw. And,
Yeah.
Texas made a lot of mistakes in that game.
So is Texas officially not back?
Yeah, no college football playoff for them.
Dang, that's so sad,
Yeah.
honestly.
And then Ohio State keeps it rolling after they. I mean, Maryland did fight. We got to give that to them.
Yeah.
Maryland did.
They were up at halftime, right? Or no,
It was
tied.
17-17 midway through the third quarter, and then Ohio State just turned on the Jets and won 37-17. And Ohio State goes to 5-0. I really feel bad for Maryland because I wanted them to go to 6-0 and possibly be a team.
I feel like Maryland's still gonna finish with like a good record. They're gonna finish like 8-4.
Oh yeah, no. Next week they play. I think Northwestern or something. So if they can win that game, because Northwestern.
Yeah, they'll win out except for Penn State and Michigan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 9-3 is not
9-3.
bad.
9-3 is not a bad year for them. Decent bowl game.
100%.
And then Florida State, number 5, Florida State beat Virginia Tech.
Hey, that game was close.
Yeah, they still didn't look that good. I mean, like Florida State's got to watch out. I mean, Duke. They play Duke soon, and Riley Leonard.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
By the time they play Duke, so
yeah,
we'll see what happens in that game. And then USC is pathetic. 43-41 against Arizona. Arizona's terrible, but USC is just as worse. I don't know.
Hey, you know who's more pathetic? And I know we'll talk about it more when we get to the new segment, but the AP poll is still keeping USC in the top 10. And I'm an Auburn fan, so this pains me to say, but higher than Alabama when really Alabama should be higher than USC.
I don't know how Alabama stayed 11 after.
Like if Alabama played USC right now, they would absolutely wipe the floor with them. I feel like.
Yeah, and then Louisville did not disappoint us either. 6.
Yeah.
Wait, I want to ask y'all a question. Is this the same Louisville team that we saw when Lamar Jackson was there? Could this be the same Louisville?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Firm no. And we're going to talk about this also a little bit later when we get to prize picks, but Sam Hartman just didn't look like himself. Like,
yeah,
we were all hanging out at Taylor's house, and Reese had to leave a little bit early. But me and Taylor were watching that game afterward. 2 interceptions after you left. Back-to-back drives by Sam Hartman.
He ended up throwing 3 overall, so
yeah,
it was a terrible game for him. And then Alabama and Texas A&M refs versus Texas A&M, 26-28 or 26-20. My bad, 26-20 at Kyle Field. Game didn't disappoint. I really thought Texas A&M. Me and Taylor really thought Texas A&M should have won the game, but some controversial calls towards the end of the game. A&M.
I still don't. Oh, sorry. You keep going.
A&M's got that fight in them. They're a good team. But now I do think Alabama might win the West. Actually, if Ole Miss loses somewhere.
So to keep prize picks shorter, A&M at Tennessee is not one of the picks. But do you think that game could be close?
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, I say yes. You said A&M at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee's a tough place to play. South Carolina. Well, actually, no.
Neyland, yeah.
South Carolina is just terrible.
Yeah.
Tennessee hasn't played a ranked team at their place yet, so I don't really know if it's a tough place to play yet. We'll see.
Yeah. It's still Neyland Stadium. It's going to be rowdy.
Yeah.
It's going to be rowdy.
Not a major upset, but an upset that happened was UCLA beat Washington State 25-17.
Yeah.
And, Washington State stayed in the rankings, which, you could keep them in the rankings, but UCLA did pretty good getting themselves back in the AP poll as well.
It's just so weird to me. I mean, you got Sam Hartman and Cam Ward, two like what I think should be at least in the top 10 for Heisman voting, and they both played not up to their standard, but just bad. Like Cam Ward, 19 for 39 with 2 interceptions.
Yeah, you know what's bad though? Like UCLA's quarterback threw 2 interceptions and they still won. That you shouldn't throw 2 interceptions and still win.
Exactly. So Oregon, Washington, excuse me, that's going to decide the Pac-12. We'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, and then Drake May didn't disappoint. We were actually talking about that before that game even started. We were talking about how Drake May hadn't looked that well or hadn't looked that good. 442 passing yards and 3 TDs this weekend against Syracuse. North Carolina keeps it rolling 5-0 and 2-0 in the ACC. That's good for them. That's a good win.
Yeah. So now that you talked about Florida State and Louisville and North Carolina, I just want to say real quick, I looked at, because they're the 3 only undefeated teams in the ACC.
Yeah.
None of them play each other
Oh,
the rest of their schedules.
yeah.
So we could have a 3 12-0 teams, and then they have to just it's literally like a flip of the coin to decide who goes. So, but I just want to say that.
And then the spread for the California and Oregon State game was pretty close at the start of the game, and I can honestly see why. California had that fight in them, but DJU threw 5 touchdown passes, which was amazing. 52 points.
Hey, California's a decent team.
Yeah,
California's a decent team.
Yeah, Auburn figured that out. And California as well, like 40 points scored. You can beat most Pac-12 teams with 40 points, honestly.
100%.
Yeah. And then Ole Miss escapes a win at home against Arkansas after upsetting LSU the week prior. But this kind of scares me for Ole Miss because when Ole Miss comes to Auburn, there's a chance that game could be close.
Well, I think I was possibly wrong because I told y'all yesterday, I was like, oh yeah, Arkansas stinks whenever we were talking about Arkansas Ole Miss.
Yeah.
But I think Arkansas was actually decent, and they've just played like good teams. Like they've lost to Ole Miss, they lost to LSU close.
Yeah.
They lost to Texas A&M.
They got
pretty close.
They got Bama next week at 11 a.m. So we'll see what happens there. But
yeah.
And then I'm not gonna talk a lot about Georgia Tech and Miami, but Tech won.
The most. Did you see the end of the game, Reese?
Yeah, I did.
Bro, talk about it a little bit later.
Oh yeah. That's my bad.
And then LSU and Missouri didn't disappoint either.
Great game.
What a game! I mean, like it was a heck of a game. Taylor got that pick right.
Yeah.
With LSU.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. Missouri's still a good team to watch out for. I mean, they got at Kentucky next week. That's also not a game on Prize Picks because of time.
Yeah.
But I think that'll be a really good game.
Yeah.
Like, just in general.
And then let's cancel the Fresno State and Air Force matchup. That matchup's off the table now after Fresno State proceeded to lose at Wyoming.
Yeah. Although Wyoming, I feel like, is also one of those, like, they're pretty good. I mean, their only losses to Texas at Texas.
Yeah, Wyoming ended the second longest win streak in the nation at 14 games. Fresno State had that. Fresno State's a good team, but
hey, Wyoming at Air Force will be a really good game.
Yeah, no. What week is that?
I was kind of surprised that speaking of Wyoming, I was kind of surprised today that they weren't put in the AP poll after beating Fresno State. But you got other teams as well to look out for that are way better than them. They did get a lot of honorable mentions though. From that. Now I'm going to go to NFL Week 5. I'm not going to spend too much time on the Panthers and Lions because I know Taylor has something for it later. Or no, Max does. My bad. I think Max does. Yeah. Lions and Panthers 42-24. I mean, I kind of expected this as a Panthers fan. The Lions defense is amazing. Like, I mean, their defense is probably, in my opinion, besides the 49ers, that's the second best defense in the NFL right there. The Lions defense is. The Lions defense,
Yeah.
Ethan Hutchinson is amazing. And David
I don't talk about it that much later. I mean, I'm mainly going to talk about the Lions a little bit later.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, the Lions did look really good.
David Montgomery looked really good, too. 19 carries, 109 yards, and a TD. That was not bad. And Adam Thielen for the Panthers didn't look that bad. 11 receptions, 107 yards, 1 touchdown. And Bryce Young didn't look that bad either. I would say this is probably his best game of the year, even though he lost. 3 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions, and 200.
Hey, you can see the improvement. I mean, it's going to take time, obviously, but you can see the improvement.
And then the Jaguars and Bills played in Linden this morning.
Good game.
Yeah. Jaguars won 25-20. The Bills had 2 opportunities with a minute to go, and they failed to convert those opportunities. Josh Allen did not have his best game. I mean, 359 passing yards is good, but made a lot of mistakes later in the game, and it just didn't work out. And then
and if you're the Bill, sorry, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later.
And then I was kind of sad to see the Texans lose to the Falcons. I really thought the Texans had it in them, and then the Falcons ended up kicking a game-winning field goal to beat the Texans 21-19. CJ Stroud did play pretty good. against the
Yeah.
Falcons defense. And actually, we were talking about Kyle Pitts last week being a bust, and Kyle Pitts actually proved a lot of people wrong this week with 7 receptions for 87 yards. Very good,
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts. Maybe we can see more of that this season.
What sucks is so many people had him on their bench in fantasy, so just because how he played.
And then, Titans and Colts. Colts get another win. But another problem, Anthony Richardson is injured again.
Yeah.
Shoulder injury.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
He reminds me of sadly he reminds me of Cam Newton getting injured, and that's what's probably going to ruin his career if he keeps getting injured. He's already gotten injured 3 times in this season out of the first 5 games, so that's something that the Colts really need to monitor and be careful with. And then the Dolphins keep rolling after they lost to the Bills last week. The Dolphins, Tua didn't have his best game, but was still able to find a way to win. And, Tyreek Hill had a heck of a day. 8 receptions, 181 yards receiving, and then 1 touchdown. 31-16 was the final score of that game.
I mean, and you look at A-Chain. Is A-Chain officially like the steal of the draft right now?
I would say, yeah.
151 rushing yards and a touchdown. Like, it's just insane how fast he is. I mean, just in general.
And then I'm gonna, I don't really like the Saints, but I'm just gonna have to talk about them for a little bit, for a minute. Saints get a big win in New England. Mac Jones got benched for like the 3rd time this season. And the Saints defense did not disappoint. Neither did Alvin Kamara. Neither did Derek Carr. Those guys were dogs today. 134-0. And then the Steelers and Ravens, 17-10. Steelers upset the Ravens. George game-winning TD.
All of us picked the Ravens. I mean, that was a huge upset.
Yeah. And then the Eagles, like I was telling Max before the podcast, the Eagles were at SoFi Stadium and had more fans than the Rams did, which, I mean, it's not a surprise because I don't think people in LA follow football. I think they're just like,
yeah,
I don't think
it's weird.
And then Zach Wilson gets his his first win. Well, would you consider the first game a win for him? Yeah, I would say.
Yes, he played the entire
game. 2 games, yeah. 2 wins for him now on the season. The Jets are 2-3. They win 31-21 in Denver. The Broncos' mishaps just continue.
But if you're Aaron Rodgers, you gotta like what you see from the Jets right now, and like in terms of like coming back, their defense is really good.
I don't know if y'all saw it, but Sean Payton, literally was screaming at Russell Wilson. He got sacked and then fumbled it in the end zone, and the Jets recovered it for a touchdown.
Jeez.
There was also beef because the Jets offensive coordinator used to work for Sean Payton, and Sean Payton was talking about how bad he was.
Yeah,
I remember
and
that.
then CTSOs before the game, Auburn graduate, was like, F them, F this, we're going to go out and win and prove them wrong. And then Sean Payton and that guy avoided each other after the game. It was so funny to watch.
Yeah, and Breece Hall after the game, in his interview, he said that the better coach won. That's what he said. He said the better coach won. He was dissing Sean Payton. He was like, the better coach won this one.
I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, Jets won. The Broncos didn't.
Yeah. And then the Chiefs stole one from the Vikings, of course. Not a surprise that the Chiefs get every call in the world. I was watching the game, and so was Taylor. And there was the most biased call I've ever seen. Patrick Mahomes got sacked and still had the ball in his hand, and they called roughing the passer.
Doesn't make sense because he wasn't a passer. So
it's ridiculous. The Chiefs escape a win in Minnesota, and will probably go to beat the Broncos on Thursday Night Football next week. And in the MLB, yeah. God dang it. Yeah, the Phillies. Hooray, hooray, hooray. You guys win the World Series. Phillies beat the Braves 3-0. Kind of wasn't a surprise to me because I kind of thought this was going to happen. And it did. Spencer Strider.
And, guys, Reese is a Braves fan. He's talking like this about them.
Spencer Strider. Spencer Strider pitched his butt off, but the offense just wasn't there the other night. The Phillies manager, I heard his interview after the game. He made the right moves, and especially he's going to continue to make the right moves. He last night he said that the bullpen, he brought in every pitcher like that could throw 99 to 100 miles an hour to stop the Braves offense from scoring, and he's going to do the same thing tomorrow. So we'll see what happens for Game 2 of the NLCS, and the Braves might be in trouble here.
Here's what I saw. I saw a crazy stat though. I mean, how dominant the Braves have been. I mean, the Braves haven't not scored one run since May. Like they've scored at least one run in every game since May, since like the middle of May. And so, but
I'll just say this. I'll say maybe they come back, maybe they don't. Who knows? I mean, it just depends because the Braves offense all regular season was good, but we'll see. I mean,
we'll see.
And then the Rangers are like surprising us like so much.
Yeah.
The Rangers win 3-2 on Saturday, and then on Sunday they win 11-8. So they take this. They're in the lead of the series. They're in the lead of the series 2-0 against Baltimore. All they have to do is go back to Texas and win one game, and they're going to the ALCS. And you're one step away from a World Series. And without Max Scherzer, that's kind of impressive. That what they've been able to do without Max.
Yeah, I mean all those what's it called, all-stars are paying off and big moves.
Yeah, and then the Astros are up 1-0 on the Twins.
The Twins are winning right now.
Yes, the Twins are winning right now.
5-0, bottom of the sixth.
Yes, the Astros won on Saturday 6-4, and they took Game 1. They kind of looked like the World Series team or the World Series winning team we saw last year in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens. And then the Diamondbacks surprised us a lot with 11 runs against the Dodgers and putting Clayton Kershaw out in the first inning.
Yeah, you see, he allowed 6 hits.
Yeah.
Before getting a strike.
We'll see the Braves and Dodgers.
Or not before getting
the Braves and Dodgers, who both are 100-win teams, might be in trouble like they were last year. We'll see in Game 2 of the NLDSs are on Monday. So it's really going to be tough for
today, actually.
What?
Today.
Yeah, but because we record on Sundays, time's kind of weird. So yeah, this is coming out on Tuesday. So yeah, it's today.
Yeah. But that's all I have for Weekend Rundown. Yes.
Thank you, Reese. And now we're going to move on to my segment, MMVP.
Who is this week's MMVP?
So I'm not going to lie. I was kind of confused on who I should pick this week. There was a lot of great players, a lot of not so great players. And so I actually texted y'all, and I got a great recommendation from Taylor. And I want to shout this player out because I'm not going to lie, we kind of dogged on him a little bit last week. And by we, I mainly mean Taylor, throwing him into his garbage disposal, into the trash can. But I just want to highlight this player coming into his third season in the NFL. People were already questioning whether or not Justin Fields even belonged in the NFL or even at the quarterback position, considering he threw for 59% and threw 21 interceptions through his first 2 seasons. And when he finally looked like he was starting to figure it out 2 weeks ago against the Broncos, he threw an interception and fumbled the ball in the red zone, which eventually led to the Broncos coming back from 21 points down in the fourth quarter. To make things even worse, the fans in the Chicago Bears stadium were chanting Caleb Williams towards the end of the game, even though Fields is just 24 years old and was the Bears' number 11 overall pick in 2021. But last Thursday night, when all hope seemed lost, with analysts discussing Fields' trades throughout the week, as well as Taylor Gottney throwing him in the trash, Justin Fields threw for 282 yards and 4 passing touchdowns, along with 57 rushing yards on 11 carries. But possibly best of all, Fields had 0 turnovers. The Bears also got their first regular season win since October 24th of 2022. And if there's any way for the Bears as well as Justin Fields to somehow make up for that disastrous collapse against the Broncos, this was it. What do y'all think of Justin Fields' performance against the Commanders?
I think it was a great performance. I think that the Commanders' defense, they got a good defense. I'm not gonna lie, their defense played very good against the Eagles. Sad loss that they lost to the Eagles a few weeks ago, and then also I kind of thought going into that game, I was like, oh, looks like the Commanders might actually win pretty big, and then all of a sudden Justin Fields decided he's not done yet, and I honestly don't think the Bears are done yet. Actually, really quick, I want to look at the Bears' schedule.
I was about to do the same
Yeah,
thing.
No, the Bears are done.
They
play at home against the Vikings. That's a winnable game.
and the Raiders too.
At home. That's 2 wins.
Yeah,
2 wins in my opinion.
The Chargers on Sunday Night Football on October 29th.
That's going to be a tough one.
That's tough, but maybe
winnable.
The Saints is not winnable. I'm sorry. It's at the
With how good the Bears division is, they're not doing anything.
Yeah,
they're definitely not winning. They're definitely not winning the division. The Lions are. But I mean, if they can string a couple wins here, I mean, I see also later down the road at home against Carolina. They get the Lions at home and away because they play them twice, but they get them at home one time. Possibly could upset them, at the Browns, at home against the Cardinals, and at home against the Falcons. Those are winnable games that if all the chips fall in the right places, they could possibly make the wild card. I don't think it will happen, but there's a chance.
Well, how bad most of the teams are this year with the records, there's a chance they could sneak into the playoffs at 9-8, or maybe if they win 10 games, they could go 10-7 in there.
No. Yeah, because I see. Wait, hold up. Let me do some math.
Oh my gosh! No.
Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3.
There's no way you're talking about the Bears making the playoffs right now.
Okay, I only see
it's
6
just
more
a
wins,
thought.
actually, realistically. So I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but I think this is definitely a step in the right direction. What we saw on Thursday night.
You just said they might sneak in the wild card.
Well, I just counted up the wins. I only see 6 more. So
hey, you talk about Justin Fields, but how about DJ Moore? I mean,
yeah, DJ
Moore had 230 of those 280 yards.
He really did prove that that he was worth it in the trade, because I'm not gonna lie, through the first couple of weeks he didn't look too great, but these last 2 weeks he's been phenomenal.
Traded for him in fantasy, baby, and I started him.
I know.
Yeah, I started him. He got me 40 points. Let's freaking go.
The one thing that's gonna hurt the Bears is their running back Khalil Herbert is doubtful for the Vikings game this upcoming week, and he also Deontay Foreman is also out. I don't know what's wrong with them.
They got Roschon Johnson though.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say, because I'm not gonna lie, Roschon Johnson for a little bit these last couple of weeks, it looks like he might end up being the RB1 if he keeps playing well. So over Khalil Herbert.
Yeah,
because I'm not gonna lie, Herbert's been kind of okay. He has no touchdowns yet.
We'll just see how the season plays out, because we've seen it before. Remember, the Jaguars last year were terrible, and then ended up coming back and sneaking into the playoffs, and then making it to the divisional round.
Listen, all I'll say is congratulations, Justin Fields. You proved us wrong for now. Let's see how you do at home against the Vikings and at home against the Raiders. But good job, Justin Fields, and that's going to do it for MMVP. Now, what do we got next? Taylor.
Trash can.
I can't wait for this one.
Straight from the garbage disposal, this is Taylor's Trash Can.
Yeah. I have a lot of thoughts about it.
All right, so the fans will think this is very, very basic, but
I don't.
This person deserves to be trash can this week.
Yes.
I had a lot of different options. I could have gone Shadur Sanders flexing his watch on a 1-4 Arizona State student.
Yeah, that was whack.
I could go with Kentucky absolutely getting mauled by Georgia after being ranked 20 and all the hype around them.
Yep.
And I could go with the Tampa Bay Rays marketing team and their fans for no one showing up. 19,000 at a playoff game is pitiful. That's like the Athletics, like worse than the Athletics. Or, the Patriots as a whole today against the Saints, on Sunday against the Saints. Absolutely awful. Mac Jones. Yeah. Patriots fans actually booed every single time the Patriots came off the field. So.
Jeez. I saw it. It was horrible.
One man sticks out among all the trash cans, and his name is Mario Cristobal.
Boo.
head coach for the Miami Hurricanes.
God, this dude sucks.
The Miami Hurricanes were up by 3 with 31 seconds left. The college football play clock is 40 seconds, and you had 31 seconds left. And they ran the ball. And they didn't just run the ball. They gave the ball to their running back 2, who was only a sophomore against a old Georgia Tech D-line. And then they didn't call a prevent on defense. They didn't call a pass defense. They blitzed everyone, and they gave up a touchdown to Georgia Tech for Georgia Tech to win the game. You know, Cristobal should be fired after what he did. Miami was cruising to be 5-0, getting ready for a big game in Chapel Hill. You know, probably trying to contend for an ACC championship spot. But now you're tied in ninth in the very good ACC this year, and you're number 25 in the rankings. They shouldn't even be in the rankings. That's some bull. But
Exactly.
I would go to say that Miami's season is over. Yes, they'll make a bowl game, but New Year's Six and playoff is completely out of the question because of the head coach that came from Oregon. Yes, he's a great coach, great motivator, great guy. You know, all the hype around him, justified. He just made a bet on Georgia Tech money line in Vegas, and he wanted to win a little extra money on top of his 10-year, $8 million contract. But, you know, everyone was saying Miami's back. You know, they're great form in the 90s, 2000s with star graduates like Ed Reed, star quarterbacks that came out of there. But this season's over. It was so bad that the fans literally threw their trash onto the field. That's how trash this guy is. The fans at Hard Rock threw their trash. You know, there are probably 5 Miami fans that showed up to that stadium, threw their trash literally on the field. They trashed the field. They trashed the Miami Hurricanes. This team is trash. Crumple them up. Throw them away. Mario Cristobal, you suck. You deserve to get fired. You deserve everything that's coming towards you in the media. You deserve all the fire. You deserve all the post-game interviews. But what do y'all think about Mario Cristobal and the Miami Hurricanes?
He sucks.
I mean,
The Miami Hurricanes are done. They'll end up going I'm gonna say 9-3 probably, maybe 8-4, because of his stupid play calling. Like you said, you don't freaking run the ball when you have 40 seconds on the play clock and 31 seconds in the game clock, and that's ridiculous. I think Georgia Tech, obviously, was super lucky. If I was Georgia Tech's coach, I'd say Mario Cristobal is the dumbest coach ever, and we won because of how retarded he was to call a run play with 31 seconds left when you should have just taken a knee and you would have won. But yeah, Miami's done. They're gonna get blown out by North Carolina by by 50.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
And it's all over.
Yeah, so I turned this game on as soon as I got home from Taylor's house. And when I kid you not, I was like, oh, I need to turn this game off, actually. They're going to kneel it out. They're going to kneel it out because I turned it on knowing that it was a 3-point game. I didn't know who had the ball. But then I saw, Miami has it 3rd and 10, 31 seconds to go. They're obviously going to kneel it out.
Don't ever turn me off of this.
But then I hear the commentator say, they're not kneeling it out. And I see them running the ball, fumbling, and then proceed to lose the game with somebody chucking a water bottle at the Georgia Tech wide receiver's head after you just scored on their sorry team.
What was it?
I mean, it was just so I don't understand. And Mario Cristobal, like you said, we even talked about him early in the season as being one of the better coaches in all of college football. He's one of the best recruiters. He's one of the best overall, I'd say, coaches when it comes to game planning. But when it comes to late game management, I was talking to my boss earlier today, and he even said he did this at Oregon. It was one of the hardest things for Oregon fans to accept, but he was one of the worst in-game, late game management guys ever. And that's one of the reasons why he's at Miami and not Oregon now.
Yeah, him and the Chicago Bears coach will both get coaching jobs.
Yeah, they're literally best friends. I don't get it. I just didn't understand it.
Cristobal will be the head coach at McNeese State, and then the Bears coach will be the offensive coordinator, and then they'll work it out together and both go 0-17.
But I mean, if you're Miami, he's on a 10-year contract, guys. You can't just
that is insane.
Fire him because you'll owe him over $100 million.
Yeah. No, yeah. And did you see? Actually, I just saw this. Did you see in his post-game press conference when asked about it? He said, "Well, we talk about in practices all the time. We talk about having two hands on the ball." He blamed the running back in the post-game press conference.
No,
He didn't even
that's
take.
awful.
He didn't even take responsibility for what he
They
did.
probably
And
didn't
he's getting.
even practice this week.
Yeah, he's getting absolutely ripped and memed by everybody, and rightfully so.
Did you see?
I mean, that is
Hey,
just.
but hey, we got to move on.
Yeah.
We got to crumple them up, throw them in the trash can. And now we actually,
Yeah, my life.
I think we got the new segment coming up.
Yes.
Reese, take them away with top 10.
Who's first, who's last, and who's in between? This is Top 10.
Yes, sir. New segment. The way this segment works is we pick the best teams from college football and NFL, the best top 10 teams we think.
Yeah, all three of us, too. I'm excited for this.
Yes.
Yeah. And we'll switch it up from week to week, like sports. Like we can do like top 10 NBA whenever it gets there and stuff like that.
So, I'm gonna start with college football.
Yeah, let's do college football and then debate and then NFL and then debate.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Obvious number one is probably Georgia for me.
They proved it.
Yeah,
They proved
they
it.
proved it. When they barely beat Auburn, I was like, oh, Georgia's in trouble. But now I think Georgia will probably go 12-0 because who's beating them? Maybe Tennessee can beat them, but I doubt it. But yeah, Georgia proved it. They're obvious number one. Obvious number two is Michigan.
Yeah.
Mm.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I got different ones for both of those.
My
Okay.
number three, this is gonna surprise y'all, is
Let's hear it.
Oklahoma. Oklahoma.
Oh my goodness.
That doesn't surprise me.
Oklahoma
Okay.
is my number three. I think they're a really good team offensively. I do think their defense needs a little bit of work, but offensively they've got it, and they have a big shot at winning the Big 12.
Wow. Hey, that's interesting. That's what I'll say.
And then four, I'm probably gonna say Florida State at 4, even though they've been
Ooh.
struggling. I think they'll pull it together eventually, and I'm gonna say they go at 4 spot. And then at 5 spot, I'm gonna have to go with Alabama.
Oh wow. Ohio State fans are crying right now. But go on.
Yeah, I think Alabama deserves to be at 5 spot because they've proved it the past few weeks. After that loss to Texas, they've really shown what they're made of. And they're proving a lot of people wrong. So is Jalen Milroe.
That's a fair point. Fair point.
Yeah. And then my 6th spot, I'm gonna stay with the Longhorns here. I'm gonna go with
Bro,
Whoa.
no way. Where is Ohio State?
Ohio State.
They're
is just
going
nowhere to be
back.
found.
They're going back because Ohio State's they're just
Hey, we're gonna wait to debate until we say all of our rankings, like fully debate. But keep going, Reese.
and then my 7 is Ohio State.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about it after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ohio State's my 7, and you'll figure out why soon.
Okay.
Honestly, my 8, I honestly think Louisville should be the 8.
What the
Bro,
heck?
oh my
you're
gosh.
joking.
Oh my
Louisville?
gosh.
No, you're joking.
Louisville should be the 8.
Okay.
Okay,
and
just
then-
keep going.
okay.
We'll flame you
Okay,
later. We'll flame you later.
then I think Oregon. No, actually, I'm gonna change that. Oregon should be the 8, and then
Thank goodness.
and then I'm gonna put Washington at 9, and then I'm gonna put Louisville at 10.
Hey, those are some interesting rankings. I'll go and tell you mine. Really quick.
Reese's hottest take.
Because I sent it to y'all earlier, so you already know them. I agreed with the AP poll in every single one, but the 10 spot. So I have Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, FSU, Oklahoma at 5, Penn State, Washington, Oregon, Texas, and then I have Bama at 10. I dropped out. If we had an 11th spot, it would be USC right now, but I just don't see them being a top 10 team after what I saw against Arizona last night. That was inexplicably bad on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams is going to do what he does every night out. But, I mean, their defense is just – I don't know what to do. Lincoln Riley, get it together. All right, what are yours, Taylor?
All right, so number 1, I agree with both of y'all. Georgia, I think they proved it against Kentucky.
Yeah.
A lot of questions coming into the season. Bad game against South Carolina, bad game against Auburn, but they proved it against a ranked team. I don't think Kentucky's very good, but Georgia, great team, great number one. At my number 2, I have Boomer Sooner
Oh
from
my.
Oklahoma at number 2.
That's
Goodness.
dude. That's not.
If you can go into the Cotton Bowl and beat Texas, you deserve to be highly ranked. I just love this Oklahoma offense. I love their defense as well. Making Quinn Ewers make mistakes. That's pretty impressive. That's all
That
I'm gonna
is.
say.
Yeah.
Oklahoma at number 2. Got some big games coming up. UCF, Kansas, West Virginia, going to be great games. But give me Oklahoma at 2, and then number 3. Y'all did not agree. We did not agree on number 3 at all. I think this team was y'all's number 8 and number 9.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to go with the Oregon Ducks, baby.
I saw that. I saw that
in
comment.
Colorado.
Oh, wow.
Oregon is an absolutely star-studded offense. Bucky Irving, Bo Nix, just to name a few people. This Oregon team is just I feel like they're underrated at this point.
No, the only reason I put them at 8 is because the bye week they had.
Yeah.
Their lowest scoring game is 38 points. And yes, I get the bye week. But this Oregon team, if they win out, they're a lock for the 1 seed. They have to be number 1.
That's a
They play
in the
they play
best
at
conference.
Washington State, at Utah, USC, and Oregon State. They have to be 1 if they win out.
Do
There's no
Y'all
doubt.
think Washington and Oregon will be the game that decides the Pac-12 championship? Basically,
100%, 100,000%. So.
All right, so number 4, I got Michigan. Michigan.
Okay.
I think they still need to prove themselves.
yeah, their schedule has been kind of weak so far.
Yeah, Michigan always does that. They always have a weak schedule going into the Ohio State game at the end of the year. And then the Penn State and the Ohio State game is always a showdown. Then my number 5, speaking of Ohio State, I have Ohio State at number 5. Good team, had a good game against Maryland. Offense is kind of questionable. Kyle McCord is kind of questionable, but, Ohio State rolls on, number 5. Number 6, I actually have Florida State. I think Florida State, really bad first half against a struggling Virginia Tech team that lost to Marshall.
Yeah.
And almost lost to Old Dominion. Virginia Tech is not good. Florida State, even at home, they should have done way better. The only reason they won that game was because of their special teams. Number 7, I'm going to have to go Penn State. Another Big Ten team that hasn't really had a great schedule so far. But Penn State, really good team. There's nothing else to say about them,
Yeah, 2 weeks from now they got Ohio State. So
yeah, Ohio State's going to be a showdown. They struggled against Northwestern last week. They had a bye week this week, but last week against Northwestern they struggled a little bit in the first half. But I agree with the AP poll on that one. Number 7, Penn State. So let's go.
Yeah.
And then number 8, I got to go Washington. I like this Washington team. I am an Oregon fan, so I don't like them this week, but I like Washington. I like Michael Penix Jr. I think right now he's definitely my front runner for the Heisman. But Washington with another bye week. Another bye week. QBR 91.6, 16 touchdowns, 2 picks, almost 2,000 yards already. Washington number 8. And then I have a team at number 9 that none of y'all said in y'all's top 10.
Ooh.
Is it North Carolina?
Yes, it's It's the Tar Heels of North Carolina. I know they haven't played the greatest teams yet. They've kind of struggled in their smaller games so far, but I love Drake May. He hasn't had the greatest start to his season, but I think they're a really good team. They got a big game against Miami coming up. I think they easily win that, and then they play Duke later in the year. North Carolina, a great team. Tez Walker coming back as well.
Yeah,
I think that's what really jumped North Carolina up in the rankings for me. They're projected wide receiver 1 coming back, eligible to play. I don't think he had a huge game, but, he was trying to get into the offensive system because he hasn't played yet. And then number 10, I got to go with the Longhorns of Texas. I was thinking about putting Alabama, but, Texas and Alabama, Texas has the head-to-head in Bryant-Denny, so I had to go Texas. Only losing to Oklahoma by 3 is a big milestone for how good Oklahoma is. But Quinn Ewers, not in my Heisman race at all anymore, I would say, after that disappointing game against Oklahoma. But that's my top 10 for college football.
I mean, okay, so now we're gonna, go back on Reese's mainly. Reese, so you don't have who was your last three? Who's your 8,
My
9,
last
10?
three, I changed it up. It was Oregon, Washington, and Louisville.
So you did have Louisville at 10.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's interesting to me. So why are they better than North Carolina right now?
I think Louisville honestly is kind of surprising a lot of people, and they're going to continue to do that. I don't think they play North Carolina at all, and I honestly think that Louisville they have a decent team. They showed that last night. Their defense really stands out to me. Their defense is really really good. They got I would say one of the best secondaries in the ACC, and I think they could possibly compete for the ACC championship game.
So where is Penn State?
That's
Yeah.
the one I forgot because they were on a bye week. I would have
So wait, did you just not put them in the top 10?
yeah, because they were on a bye week. I would have put them in the
No. Penn State
That's wild.
Penn State could be top 5.
Yeah, no. I was about to say, so you had Alabama ahead of Oregon, Washington, and Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
So you had Texas at 6 too, right?
Yeah, no, I moved. I said that the only reason they were at 6 is because of a close loss to Oklahoma really doesn't affect them, but they still their schedule's easy enough for them to go 11-1. Like, I mean, it's obvious that they're going to go 11.
So no Penn State. You don't believe in Penn State at all?
No, I think Penn State would be good. It's just I forgot that they had a bye.
Oh, so you just forgot about. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, hey, we'll see. I mean, to be fair, it is a fair point. They've been pretty forgettable so far, just because they haven't played anybody.
Yeah, like their first
But,
game was against the University of Delaware. Like, I mean, who is that?
Yeah. So, and then I want to ask Taylor real quick. You have Oklahoma at 2, which,
Yes.
I mean, hey, they did look good against Texas. I'm not going to lie. They really impressed me, especially on that, game-winning touchdown. I didn't think that would happen. But what makes them, for right now, and I know Michigan has improved themselves, but what makes them better than Michigan from what you see?
The thing that stands out about Oklahoma compared to these other Big 12 teams is they actually play defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just believe in Oklahoma, and I think if they win out, they're going to move up in the college football playoff rankings easily. I mean, they're going to win the Big 12 more than likely.
Yeah.
They actually have a player named Danny Stutzman that we saw against Texas. He had 9 tackles against the star-studded, speed demons of Texas. But really what stands out to me is just Dylan Gabriel. I mean, coming in last year from UCF, Oklahoma was awful last year. The 49-0 against Texas. He did only have a completion rate of 60%, but I mean his season stats are really good. He has the 3rd best QBR, 16 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I honestly think that if you have a top 5 in Heisman right now, Dylan Gabriel has to be somewhere on that list. He has the same stats as Michael Penix Jr. Granted, Michael Penix Jr. has played 1 less game, but I just think Dylan Gabriel has to be somewhere in that. I don't know. I just like Oklahoma. I believe in them. I believe in their run game. The run games, they have actually 3 running backs that get shares of the ball.
Yeah.
Home field advantage for Oklahoma is always insane too. And
Hey.
they don't really play a decent team all year, the rest of the year. I mean, they play West Virginia and at Kansas. I mean, those are decent games, but I believe in Oklahoma, and I think they deserve to be number 2 after going into the Cotton Bowl. Basically, home field advantage for Texas and getting the big win.
Yeah.
Hey, those are all great points. And the last thing I'd like to bring up before we go into like NFL, if y'all don't have anything to say about mine's pretty standard, similar to the AP poll. I just went off based of like what they were looking like before, and then based off what they look like this week.
What do y'all think about Oregon at 3, though?
Oregon at 3 is, hey, we'll see this week. That's what I'll say.
Oregon.
We got the appetizer against Colorado. We're getting the full meal against Washington.
Oregon at 3 makes sense because Oregon deserves to be at that high because of what they've done so far. Colorado might be overrated, but Oregon absolutely exposed them and how bad they are. And Bo Nick.
The main difference between like Oregon and Michigan and Penn State, the teams that haven't really played anybody like of that top caliber yet, is because Oregon hasn't played any of them close. Like, there's been no doubt. You could argue Texas Tech, but I mean, honestly, I feel like they had that game in the bag like throughout the entire game. It would just ended up being close on the scoreboard. Oregon's just proven it so far, So I don't think it's too much of a stretch.
If Oregon beats Washington, I think Oregon wins. They might win the national championship.
Hey, that's a fair point. My last one was going to be like, why do each of us have USC out of the top 10? And I know the obvious reasons, because for me, just they've probably played in their entire schedule so far. Like they've only played 2 games where they've absolutely dominated. And as a team that wants to be in the college football playoff, like this is supposed to be their year. I mean, their team is stacked. They have so many like 5 stars, great transfers and stuff. But for a team that's played San Jose State, Nevada, Stanford, Arizona State, Colorado, and Arizona, all mid schools, they've only destroyed 2 of them.
Yeah.
Like you could argue San Jose State, but that game was close at halftime, and they allowed 28 points. Whereas Arizona State, they won by 14 and also allowed 28 points. Colorado, they allowed 41 and only won by 7. And Colorado had terrible late game management. I don't know if that was Deion's fault or some other guy, but terrible late game management. They could have lost that game. And then Arizona, they had to win in 3 overtimes. I mean, I don't get it. And they got at Notre Dame. We'll talk. That is a game that we're going to pick in Prize Picks, which that's a game I'm just going to go and say it right now because I feel strong about it. I genuinely think they could lose that game. Like, I genuinely do because they don't look complete at all. Yeah, their offense is great, but, I mean, their defense, like Alex Grinch, how does he still have a job? Like, the USC, I don't understand how many years are they going to go 10-2, 11-1? Because, yeah, at USC, you're one of the top 10 recruiting schools in the country every year. You're going to have 5 stars. You're going to be more talented than any other team you face 10 times out of 10. But if you can't have good coaching and you can't be good on both sides of the ball, you're never going to win anything, and nobody's going to remember your team. So that's all I have to say because I felt really strongly about USC. Do you all have any quick things to say about USC before we move on to NFL?
USC has the worst defense in college football, and that's the reason I put them out of my top 10 because their defense.
Yeah.
The only thing USC has going for him is Caleb Williams with 22 touchdowns. That's it.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, Reese, now tell us your NFL top 10.
Oh,
because I'm tired of USC.
NFL top 10.
Panthers number 1.
Heck no. They would be at freaking like 100 if
32
teams.
All right, let's hear it.
Yeah, my number 1, I'm actually going to say the Eagles because the Eagles are 5. Eagles are 5.
Okay.
Obvious choice there. The Eagles look amazing right now. They had a little bump against the Commanders, but they still were able to win. Jalen Hurts is amazing.
Hey, just quick score update. 49ers are up 28-10 with the ball.
Yeah, and that's why
the
49ers are number 2.
Okay.
They have one of the best defenses in the league as well. And then I'm actually going to put the Dolphins at number 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Even with the loss to the Bills, I still put them at number 3. And then I'm gonna actually put the Lions at number 4.
Oh yeah, Reese.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna put the Chiefs at 5 because
whoa, you're on a roll. Actually, for me,
they're 4-1. And then at 6, the Seahawks are on a 3-game winning streak, so I'm gonna have to go with them at 6. Geno's he's looked okay.
Not too much of a stretch.
Yeah.
Not too much.
He's looked okay. An overtime win against the Lions was pretty good for them. So that's at my 6th spot. My 7 was gonna be the Ravens, but they disappointed me today. So I'll say my 7's the Bills because the Bills are all right.
I was about to say you gotta have the Bills somewhere.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna have the Ravens behind them at 8.
Oh.
And then
okay.
At 9 would have been the Cowboys, but no. At 9 I'm gonna have the Buccaneers.
Oh my God, Reese.
Okay.
There's no.
Hey.
You got.
Oh
hey,
my God.
I don't think that's too much of a stretch. Just me personally.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then at 10, I'm actually gonna go with the Jaguars. At 10.
Yeah. Good pick.
So where are the Cowboys?
The only one that
Cowboys aren't there.
yeah, because they suck. Like they're gonna
Okay.
go.
Okay. That's okay. You're okay.
No.
Let me just
Did
say
you see
mine
the
real
score?
quick.
Scoreboard.
I'm gonna speed through mine real quick before we get to the debate after Taylor's. 49ers won. I feel like they're proving it on the field right now against the Cowboys, who are a good team, and I'll get to that later in my rankings. 2 is Eagles. Eagles have been good, but they haven't played anybody super good. I'd say the best team they played so far is the Buccaneers, which they won by 14. But the Eagles are definitely good. Jalen Hurts, I mean, he has a genuine chance to win MVP the way he's playing right now. Number 3, I got the Lions. The Lions have really impressed me so far. I mean, that really close loss to the Seahawks, I feel like that was a fluke, but I also feel like the Seahawks are pretty good. Then number 4, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. I was thinking about putting them ahead of the Lions because I feel like overall they're a more like put together team, offense and defensive wise. But the Lions did beat them, like straight up. So I have to put the Chiefs behind the Lions.
Yeah,
number 5.
Remember, every analyst, the Chiefs have Taylor Swift, so you got to put them ahead of everybody.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm no Chris Collinsworth. I'm not going to say Patrick Mahomes is not playing his best football right now. I would just go ahead and say that for Chiefs fans out there. But number 5, I'll go the Buccaneers. I know this is very high. I know
What,
Taylor's
buddy?
going to disagree with this.
Are you serious?
I'm going with the Buccaneers. Their only loss right now is to the Eagles, and every other team. I mean, I was about to say every other team they've blown out. They beat Chicago by 10. They beat Minnesota by 3. Those aren't super convincing wins, but I think Baker Mayfield is having a renaissance year. I mean, I feel like Baker Mayfield is showing that he was worth that number 1 overall pick. I think that the system of the Buccaneers really works out well, and their offensive line, like I saw it firsthand against when they played the Saints. I mean, their offensive line is really good. I don't think anybody expected that, but they are. And now number 6, I got the Bills. Disappointing loss against the Jaguars, and they've also lost to the Jets. 2 very just out of the blue losses. Jets was an away game, but so I got to go with the Bills. The Bills still look like a good team, and I think they're going to get it fixed. But I mean, you just can't have those random losses. Number 7, I got the Dolphins. The only reason I got them behind the Bills is because they lost to the Bills straight up, so I had to put them behind the Bills. But I think the Dolphins are a really good team, and we could see them jump in these rankings very quickly in the next couple of weeks because their offense, I would say, is the best in the NFL right now. Number 8, I got the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks have quietly, to me, looked like one of the better teams in the NFL, blowing out the Giants, beating the Panthers. But the biggest win, and what really made me put them at number 8 in these top 10 rankings, is their win on the road against the Detroit Lions, who, like I said earlier, are number 3. I mean, the Seahawks, Geno Smith is showing he's showing his age a little bit in bad ways, but he's also showing it in good ways. He's able to methodically, pick apart the defense. And, look to the Seahawks to possibly challenge the 49ers late in the season for that top spot in their division. And now I got number 9. I got the Dallas Cowboys, the team that Reese Kinder forgot to include in his top 10. Yes, they're losing by a lot to the 49ers when we're recording this.
I didn't forget.
Okay. We'll talk about it a little bit later why you're wrong. But while we're following this, I understand, yes, they're going to get blown out by the 49ers. But the 49ers, this is one of the best teams I've seen in a while. And that's how good I have them.
And Reese didn't even have them as 1.
So that's the reason I have them as 1. The Cowboys, I still think are very good. I still think they're going to challenge the Eagles, for the top spot in their division. But the Cowboys definitely deserve to be in the top 10. And then number 10, I originally had the New Orleans Saints, and I felt like that was obviously a little biased. And also I was riding off the high of them beating the Patriots by 34 today. But I'm going to go with the Jaguars at number 10. They deserve this spot. I actually talked to my dad a little bit about it because he loves watching the NFL as much as I do. And he was like, you got to put the Jags in there after that win against the Buffalo Bills. They deserve it, So I gave it to them. I threw them a bone. They're going to be number 10 for this week. Trevor Lawrence, of course, as soon as I give him to Taylor, or I dropped him, but then Taylor picked him up, he starts looking good. He starts looking like the Trevor Lawrence that I thought he would be this year. And Calvin Ridley's a dog. Travis Etienne is a dog. I mean, they got some dogs on this team. And look out for the Jaguars. That's my top 10. Taylor, who you got?
All right. Number 1, I got the 49ers easily. I mean, we're seeing them put on a clinic against one of the best defenses in the NFL. They're just so good. Their O-line is really good as well. Trent Williams, the veteran, he's been locking up Micah Parsons all night. Number 2, I got the Eagles. I think the Eagles still need to prove it to me, but I mean, the two undefeated teams should be the top two. That's
Yes.
how this works.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, I actually have the Dolphins. I'm gonna have to agree with Reese on the Dolphins.
Okay.
I'm high on the Dolphins right now. I mean, best offense I've probably ever seen since the Cam Newton Carolina Panthers. This offense, it's just way too good, and their schedule coming up is really easy. So I think they could jolt up even more. But number 4, I have the Lions. I agree with Reese again. The Lions are really good. You know, Jared Goff. Everyone kind of doubted him when he got traded to the Lions, but very young team as well. Jameson Williams came back today. Their tight end is amazing. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Oh, yeah, I know you're thinking of. I'm blanking out too, though. Sam Laporta.
Yeah, Sam Laporta, absolute dog. David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, absolute dogs as well. Number 5, I have the Bills.
Ooh.
I know they got a tough loss against the Jaguars, but I'm high on this Bills team. Josh Allen, once again, had a great game. Just the defense came short. I have the Bills this high because the Bills are dealing with so many injuries on the defensive side right now. Tre'Davious White is one of the biggest names in the NFL. He's injured right now. And they had 3 different guys, Matt Milano, get injured as well today. But if their whole team was healthy, they would definitely be easily 5, maybe even higher for me. Number 6, I have the Chiefs, even though they got protected today by the refs in the NFL, because the NFL protects the Chiefs because the Chiefs make the NFL too much money. But I'm not going to go into the Chiefs. I don't like the Chiefs. Number 7, I actually have the Cowboys at number 7.
Yep.
Yes, the Cowboys were the top team week 1 and 2, and then they lost to the Cardinals. Bad loss. And yes, they're losing to the 49ers by a lot, but the 49ers are the best team in the NFL by far. Give me the Cowboys at 7. Dak Prescott will bounce back in a big way. Number 8, I have the Jaguars. I have the Jaguars at number 8. Trevor Lawrence not doing amazing, but this run game for the Jaguars is legit with Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne. You got the power guy, you got the elusive guy. Both running backs absolutely amazing. Jaguars at number 8. Number 9, I have the Seahawks. Yeah, I agree with the Seahawks here. They had a bye week going into a big game. Kenneth Walker is absolutely amazing. Fantasy dog, position ranked number 5. I actually just traded for him in fantasy. Geno Smith, not the best, but if you have a wide receiver core of DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and Jackson Smith and Jigba, you deserve to be top 10 in the NFL rankings. Then number 10, I have a team that y'all all did not say.
Ooh.
They're in the same division as the Jaguars.
Colts?
Oh,
The Colts?
Colts?
That would be the Indianapolis Colts. I have them.
I was actually going to say them, but then I was like,
The Colts right now are 3-2, and Jonathan Taylor just came back, and he didn't have a good game. I will say that. But Anthony Richardson, I like what he's doing in Indianapolis, even though he got hurt today. But backup quarterback Gardner Minshew. That's not half bad. If you have a backup quarterback Gardner Minshew, you're doing something right. Michael Pittman Jr., Josh Downs, Mo Alley Cox. They have an insane tight end core. Quentin Nelson on the O-line. Zaire Franklin on the defense. Julian Blackmon. Defense is really good. Shaq Leonard, Kenny Moore. I'm high on this Colts team. They're tied with the Jaguars right now. And let's see I don't know who the Colts play this week. They actually play the Jaguars, so that'll be an absolute great game. Go Colts. And that's my top 10 for the NFL. I don't think we have a lot of debates here.
Yeah, I would agree.
The only thing I have to say is, Reese, you need to put the Cowboys in the top 10.
Yeah, so what makes you think that the Ravens are a better team than the Cowboys?
First off, the Cowboys lost to Joshua Dobbs, who is probably the worst quarterback in the NFL.
But you could use that same argument to say, oh, the Bills lost to the Jets. Yet here we are.
But that was just luck that happened.
But I would argue that it was luck that the Cardinals beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, but also I think Dak Prescott and them, their offense is helter-skelter. It's just a game they'll have like 3 good games and they'll go off for a bad game like they're having right now against the 49ers. The 49ers have the best defense in the NFL, but still the Cowboys have a decent offense that has only got 10 points so far against the 49ers. So that's why I put the Cowboys.
So why do you list your top 10 again?
So mine was Eagles, 49ers.
Okay.
Who was 3? I think 3 was.
Who are your 7, 8, 9, and 10?
Oh, 7, 8, 9, and 10 I think was Ravens. I think it was.
Yeah, that's crap. Ravens
Yeah.
could not be 7.
No, it
Yeah.
might have been, no, I think it was Seahawks, Ravens, and then 9 was like Buccaneers or something, and then 10 was Jaguars.
Yeah, so that's what that's what I have to ask Taylor. I mean, what do you see in this Buccaneers team that isn't as good as this Colts team?
I just don't believe in Baker Mayfield. I just don't believe in the Bucs.
Understandable.
Let me look. I don't know who they've played so far, to be honest.
Nope.
I mean, they're all.
haven't done a lot of. I mean, they barely beat Minnesota, barely beat Chicago, lost the Eagles, and then beat the Saints.
Yeah,
I
they beat us down. So
Yeah, and their running back Rashad White. I had him in fantasy for about 1 week, and then I traded him away. I just don't believe in him. Their defense is very good, very good, very good. Levante David, Devin White, Ryan Neal, Antoine Winfield Jr., Vita Vea, Carlton. I mean, I could go on and on. Jamel Dean, both Auburn graduates, Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean. But Baker Mayfield, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, completion rate of 69%. I just don't believe in him, man. And they have a very hard schedule coming up.
Yeah, I mean, at home against the Lions.
Versus the Lions, versus the Falcons, at the Bills. I don't want to put them in my top 10 and then they go down. That's all I'm going to say. So.
Those are all fair points. I mean, I think that unless y'all have any arguments for mine, I mean, yeah, I had Buccaneers all the way at 5. I do believe in them because, I mean, they beat down the team that going into that game at home against the Buccaneers, Saints, we were 2-1. We were looking better than we had our entire time under Dennis Allen since Drew Brees has left, I felt like. But then we got washed. I mean, absolutely hammered at home by the Buccaneers. And so if Baker Mayfield can keep this up, which I don't know that he will, but if he does, I mean, this Buccaneers team is dangerous. But that's a big if.
And as we're speaking, Dak Prescott doesn't know which team he's playing for and threw it right.
Bro, it bounced off the receiver. That wasn't his fault.
Yeah. I was about to say I saw that too.
Oh, jeez.
So.
42. No.
All right. Well, if that's all the arguments we have, that was our new segment. And now, Taylor, the temperature is indeed rising. I'm starting to get really hot. I need to turn down my thermostat real quick.
Yes, sir. I got to take off my blanket. Play the intro.
The temperature is rising. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Taylor's Hottest Take.
I'm gonna start a fire.
Bwomp, bwomp. Bwomp, bwomp.
All right, be quiet, Reese.
Yes.
There's a lot of hype right now and kind of tunnel vision on college football, NFL, and even the MLB playoffs. And I would even say the WNBA with the finals going on. I think the Liberty actually took game 1.
They did.
And the NHL is starting up. But I want to go a little bit into not as much into the future as last episode, but I want to go a little bit into the future. Kind of go away from this football talk that we're doing about. And I want to talk about my favorite professional sport personally. I want to talk about some NBA basketball.
Ooh.
Personally, I'm a Warriors fan, Golden State Warriors fan for life. And personally, my second favorite team is the Grizzlies. I got a John Morant jersey after the whole.
Let's not talk.
Yeah, but you know who's going to win the finals, guys? You might be thinking, Bucks with the Damian Lillard trade.
Uh-huh.
The Celtics with Drew Holiday now.
No.
I'm thinking the Warriors get another one. Maybe the Lakers, LeBron James, before he retires. But no!
Oh.
Cleveland! The Cleveland Cavaliers will win NBA Finals for the first time since 2016 when they had LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love as the trio. I really, really like this Cavs team, and I see them sneaking into the playoffs as a 3 seed under the Celtics and Bucks, but they'll upset a few teams. I just want to take a straight look at the roster. Starting lineup, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen is their starting lineup.
Yeah.
Then off the bench, they got Isaac Okoro, Auburn grad, Karis LeVert, and Ricky Rubio as 3 of their big names. And then, y'all may not know this, but they got one of the most hyped middle school and high school players of all time, all over Ball is Life YouTube, as hype as LaMelo Ball was, Amani Bates with the 49th pick this past draft. This team has an amazing mix of young stars combined with veterans such as Karis LeVert and Ricky Rubio. And I just want to highlight Donovan Mitchell real quick, just kind of, glaze him a little bit. But he averaged 28 26.3 points, 4.4 assists, and 1.5 steals per game per season. I mean, these are insane numbers. I mean, you may look at like Giannis, Luka, all these stars with these numbers, but look at the teams around them. Like Luka has almost no one around him, so he can average 40 points. But these are insane numbers for how good the rest of this team is. And Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are some of the best defenders down low, and they are literally the twin towers in the paint. Allen averages 9.8 rebounds. Mobley averages 1.5 blocks a game. All I'm saying is, with all these trades going on and all of the movement going on in the NBA right now, the Cavaliers have been completely overlooked, and it shows because they have the 10th best odds to win the finals under such teams as the Mavericks, Clippers, and 76ers. Honestly, the Mavericks and Clippers to me is an absolute joke to be above them.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is pretty hot. We're in the desert right now. What are y'all's takes on the Cleveland Cavaliers?
So I think the Max Strus. I totally forgot about the Max Strus pickup. I think that's a huge pickup because they didn't lose anything. They just signed him. It wasn't a trade or anything. And because you'll remember last year, their starting lineup is basically the same, except they had Okoro starting, which I love Okoro, great player. I got to watch a lot of his games when he played at Auburn. He's absolute stud. But, I mean, he's not there yet, like, as an all-around player yet. He's more of, like, a defensive, stronger defensive player. But Max Strus, to combine with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen on the defensive side of the ball, whereas Max Strus is just knockdown shooter, that's almost what I felt like what was missing. Because the Cavs, I mean, they've been there. Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, like, that's one of the best backcourts in the NBA, I would argue, right now. But Max Strus is, like, that missing puzzle piece, I feel like. So I'm not going to fully say as, like, because this is my segment, I'm not going to say hot take. I think they're going to win the finals. I don't think they're going to win the finals because, like you said, yes, I'm a Bucks glazer right now. I think that Dame and, Giannis, I feel like that's just the match made in heaven. But I don't disagree fully. I do think that they're going to be a very good team.
This man's also a Pelicans fan, guys. So
yes, I am. And Zion Williamson, comeback player of the year. Comeback player of the year. Just watch.
He's going to win Rookie of the Year because he hasn't even played a game.
Comeback player of the year. Just watch.
Bro, Zion hasn't even played a game. He's a 92 overall in 2K.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Yeah.
Reese, what's your take on the Cavs?
Yes.
I'm a Warriors fan as well as Taylor. But I honestly agree with Taylor. I think the Cavaliers lineup is very good. Didn't they make the playoffs last year, Taylor?
Yes.
Yeah.
But they lost. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I honestly think last year was they just needed a little bit more help, and I think Amani Bates is going to help with that. And I think that Donovan Mitchell is one of the best players in the NBA.
100%.
And I think the Cavaliers have a shot to make it to the finals and possibly win a championship.
I mean, yeah, the one thing they were mainly missing, like that's what I was basically trying to say. The one thing they were mainly missing is just a straight-up role player, spot-up shooter, Max Strus, because they got a role player in Isaac Okoro on the defensive end, and then, like you said, Twin Towers inside. And their depth is great.
Max, is it going to be the Pelicans versus Cavs in the finals, and then the Cavs are going to win in 4?
No, it'll be Pelicans versus Bucks, but
I mean, the temperature's hot. We've made it to Phoenix.
We left.
Let's go to Max with everyone's favorite segment, Prize Picks. Take them away, Max.
Not sponsored by the app Prize Picks, it's time for Max's Prize Picks.
So we're going to try and make it quicker for y'all because I know y'all got, jobs to go to, and we don't want to keep making the show 2 hours as much as we love talking sports. But we're going to go
We know
and
Max loves talking.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
We're going to go and get started with the standings this week. So I actually had the best record this week. I had 4-6, but that still wasn't really good. 4-6 record. Taylor went 3-7, and Reese went 2-8. 2-8 was my record last week. Reese, it's kind of tough. And now we got Taylor is number 1 still though, 37-23, and then I'm 500 now. I'm 30-30, and then Reese is not looking too good. Houston, we have a problem. 27-33. So, but anyways, now we're gonna go and get started. So we don't have, as much as y'all are gonna be sad, we don't have countdown next week. Auburn has a bye week, so we have a bye week. But so we can pick high school football games, and we're gonna start off. We have 2 on the slate. First one is going to be Dothan at Enterprise. Dothan is 5-2. They just got blown out by Central, but they're going away against the Enterprise team who's 5-1. And this game has a possibility to be the deciding factor in who makes the playoffs between these two teams, because Auburn and Central are basically locks at this point. And then it's really between Dothan, Enterprise, possibly Opelika.
Hello and welcome to AHS Countdown. I'm your host, Max Hudson. I'm joined by Taylor Gottney and Reese Kinder. And today
So, yeah, y'all are definitely going to be missing that this week. But, no, so we got Dothan at Enterprise. There's no lines out yet because they don't put the lines out until Wednesday, as well as the rankings. So coming off that loss against Central, and then Enterprise, like you said, Reese, blew out Prattville. I'm going to have to go with Enterprise on this one. I'm going to have to agree with Taylor like he always says on HiDef Countdown. I don't believe in Dothan's offense. I feel like Enterprise has too good of an offense. So I feel like the Wildcats win this one. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game. I think that the Wildcats are going to win 38-34 over the Dothan Wolves at home. Give me the Wildcats. Wow.
Bro.
What the freak was that? Yeah, no. Sam Broadway actually is a really good quarterback, I think. Yeah, I see Dothan winning this game. I'm gonna say Dothan wins 35 to
Dothan.
Yeah. Interesting pick, Reese. Interesting pick.
Why would I go with Enterprise when they got blown out by Central?
Dothan also
Everyone
got
gets
blown out by
blown
Central.
Well.
No, I'm gonna go with Dothan because I think Sam Broadway's a good quarterback. I don't care what you guys say. But I think Dothan wins 35-31.
Well, given how bad Reese's record is, I'm going to have to agree with Max on this one. Enterprise does have an interesting quarterback situation, just like Auburn. But I believe in this Enterprise running back room. I think his name is Keith Dunlap, actually. Keon Dunlap. Yeah, he's a dog. He'll have a big game. I got Enterprise 49-0. Go Wildcats.
49-0 is wild.
Hey, Keon Dunlap is also a safety and a running back. He's a 3-star committed to Indiana, so he's going to have a big game.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this game's going to decide, who makes that 3rd or 4th spot in Region 2. Next, we go to Baker at Mary Montgomery. Now, Baker's 6-1 and 4-0 in Region 1, and Mary Montgomery's actually 7-0 and 4-0 for their first time in school history. They have never started a season 7-0. I went all the way back to 1914 when their team started. So I got the frick, I can't think. Sorry. Google's got me tripping. But anyways, yeah, so this Mary Montgomery team, they're going to be entering this game number 4 because Auburn, Central, and Thompson all getting wins. They're not going to move. But this is a huge game. And I haven't seen much out of this Mary Montgomery team. I know that they've blown out basically everybody they played. I know Taylor, whenever on AH's Countdown, is always like, Mary Montgomery at 4, like, why? And I don't disagree with them because they haven't played anybody. And Baker, they've proven themselves against tough teams. And so I'm going to go with Baker on the road to ruin Mary Montgomery's, undefeated season. Josh Flowers is a dog. Bryce Kane is a dog. And, yeah, I'm going to go with Baker to win this one. This one's also going to be a high school shootout. I'm going to go with Baker winning this one 42-38. 42-38 over the Vikings on the road. Buzz, go Hornets.
Baker's a really good team. We've featured them a lot on Countdown. Mary Montgomery, I think their schedule's been really easy. So I'm going to take Baker here. I'm going to say Baker wins this one. I'm going to say 38-21.
I agree with Reese, actually. Baker is a really, really good team. I mean, it's hard to argue against that 7-0 record for Mary Montgomery. But, I mean, Baker, actually, I just clicked on the wrong sport on Max Price. I clicked on basketball. Baker just beat Bryant. That's not a very worthy opponent. But Baker has also beaten Theodore, who we saw beat Opelika. They beat Foley. They beaten Daphne. Had that tough loss against Dothan, but I got to go the Baker Hornets with y'all. Their quarterback is just way too good, way too good. Josh Flowers, we talk about him a lot on Countdown. He'll have
Yeah.
a huge game to continue his 14 touchdowns and 2 interception season. Go
Jeez.
Baker Hornets.
And now we'll move into a game that I've basically already prefaced who I think is going to win. But we got the number 10 USC Trojans. Don't deserve to be number 10. I've already said why. But they're 6-0, and they're going away against number 21 Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who have lost to Ohio State and Louisville, both tough losses against undefeated teams. They're 5-2, but the line still does favor Notre Dame. In South Bend, Notre Dame is favored -2.5, and over under is 62.5 right now. So the Vegas betting makers, I guess, I don't know, I believe that, but they are favoring the Irish here, and I'm honestly, I agree with them. I think Notre Dame's going to win this game. I just feel like that was an off game for Sam Hartman. I feel like I don't know what he was doing, but I feel like he's going to get back in his groove like he was before that game when he had 14 touchdowns without an interception. So I got Notre Dame winning this one at home. Give me Notre Dame winning. I think this will actually be a lower scoring game because I think that this Notre Dame defense will be able to rattle Caleb Williams.
Max Mesman,
And so I think that this Notre Dame defense will be able to rattle Caleb Williams. I said it. They're going to be able to rattle the reigning Heisman winner. And give me Notre Dame winning this one 24-21. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game because USC is going to get rattled on offense, and then their defense just isn't going to be able to do enough. Actually, make it 31-21 because I think USC's defense is horrible.
I think Notre Dame actually wins this game big. Stop laughing, Taylor. Yeah, I think Sam Hartman gets revenge from losing to Louisville, and I think that Notre Dame wins this game. I'm gonna say close just because Caleb Williams is good at USC's offense is good, but their defense will give up a lot of points. I'm gonna say 42 to 38.
All right. I'm going to actually have to agree with both of y'all again. Notre Dame, everyone talks about Sam Hartman, but they got a stellar tight end in Mitchell Evans. Didn't see a lot of action against Louisville, only 4 receptions for 71 yards and 1 touchdown. But on the season, he has 343 yards. He averages 15.6 yards per catch. This stadium's going to be packed out, probably sold out. And the Notre Dame defense is really good. I feel like this is going to be a Notre Dame defense versus USC offensive game. And if the Notre Dame defense can win, then Notre Dame will win this game behind Sam Hartman and their star running back, Audric Estime. Give me the Notre Dame Irish. I'm going to have to say 35-14.
So now we're going to move on to 35-15. They're going to blow them out. Next, we got number 18, UCLA Bruins, who are 4-1 overall and 1-1 in Pac-12 play. Coming off that huge upset against Washington State at home, they go away to number 15, Oregon State Beavers.
Well, Max. I think Georgia at Vanderbilt is a very intriguing matchup.
Yeah, I know. Sadly, we didn't have time, so I couldn't include that on the picks. I also think Indiana, Michigan, shout out. That's going to be a great game. But anyways, we're going to pick this game. That's actually going to be a good game. Oregon State, who's 5-1 overall and 2-1 in the Pac-12 play, coming off a big win over Utah and Cal. I'm going to go – well, the line is Oregon State -5. Over-under is 53.5, so a bit more of a defensive side of the ball. So I'm gonna go with Oregon State at home here. If this was in UCLA, it might flip the other way. This game's gonna be really close, and I feel like it's gonna be very low scoring. I actually think that over under should be lower because that UCLA defense, they've proven it twice now. I mean, against Utah, they only allowed 14. Against Washington State, I mean, they held Cameron Ward to 1 passing touchdown and 2 interceptions. They held him to 17 points. I mean, a Washington State team that was just rolling going into that game. And I'm going to go with Oregon State at home here. I feel like DJU is starting to figure it out. You know, they scored 52 on the road against Cal. He's fitting into that offense well. So I'm going to go Oregon State at home here. Give me them. This is going to be very low scoring. I'm going to go 17-7. I think UCLA scores 1 touchdown and that's it. And then Oregon State wins by 10. Give me Oregon State. Go Beavers. Reese? Bro, did Reese leave the call?
Reese.
Bro, this man just went to the restroom, bro. I'm going to punch this guy.
Oh, I think Oregon State will win. I think Oregon State will win. I was talking the whole time. Could y'all not hear me?
No.
Oh.
But we know you're faking it. It's fine.
I think Oregon State will win. I think DJU will probably play very good. He had 5 touchdown passes against California last week. So yeah, I got Oregon State since it's at Oregon State because we saw the crowd against Utah, and you know that game against Utah was it was actually a very good game. Oregon State fans stormed the field. We might see another field storming here. I don't know why, but yeah, I'm taking Oregon State, and I'm going to say they win 24-14.
You know, I'm going to have to fix the graphic here. I'm going to go UCLA. I just believe in this UCLA defense more than this Oregon State offense. And Dante Moore for UCLA has had a pretty decent season. He didn't have the greatest game against Washington State with those 2 touchdowns. But the UCLA defense will cause turnovers, and DJ –
oh, no.
will choke like he always does in a big game. So give me the UCLA Bruins traveling to Corvallis, Oregon, and beating my arch nemesis, the Oregon State Beavers. Go Ducks and go Bruins.
Well, speaking of the Ducks, that's our next game. The game of the week, the game of the year so far, in my opinion, for college football. Number 8, I know we just had the Red River rivalry, but I got this game, number 8 Oregon Ducks, college game day, 5-0, 2-0 in Pac-12 play are the Ducks, and they're going away against number 7 Michael Penix Jr. led Washington Huskies, 5-0, 2-0 in the conference of the Pac-12. The line is favoring Washington here by 3 points. The line is Washington -3, and the over/under is it's high. I mean, as expected, it's 67.5 right here. And this is going to be – I know Taylor's obviously going to disagree with me because I know who he's going to pick. But this is a game I also need to catch back up, you know, in the points. So I know that we're going to disagree here. But I genuinely believe that the Washington Huskies will beat the Ducks at home.
No, you better watch out at school, bro. You better watch out at school.
I think that Washington is a really good team. Their defense is good enough, but their offense – I mean, wow. Roma Dunze – and Michael Penix Jr. They actually have three possibly first-team All-American wide receivers. Like, it's actually insane. They have Jalen McMillan as well, and I'm trying to pull up their lineup, but they have, like, 3 receivers that are all above, like, 500 receiving yards already. So they have Roma Dunze. They have Jalen Polk, who's a transfer from Mississippi State, and then they have Jalen McMillan. All 3 really good. I know Oregon, I do feel like that their defense is just a little bit better, but I feel like Washington's offense is just on a whole nother level this year. I feel like it's one of the best offenses that I've seen in a decade for college football. Michael Penix Jr. is just him. So I'm going to go with Washington winning this one, a shootout, an absolute shootout, I'm going to go with Washington winning this one 49-42 over Oregon. All touchdowns because both these offenses, they don't settle for field goals. They're just too good. So I'm going to go Washington absolutely smashing that over. I'm going to go with Washington winning 49-42, beating the spread, beating the over, and go Huskies.
You know what I think?
What's up?
I think Washington. I think they're going to lose because the Oregon Ducks are going to clap those. I can't say it. They're gonna clap the Huskies. In Washington, Oregon wins. I'm gonna say 45-38 in Washington. Very high scoring game. That's why the over under 67. And Bo Nix continues his Heisman run. And Washington goes 5-1. Oregon goes 6-0, and Oregon possibly gets into the college football playoff race.
Oregon, our alma mater, we will guard thee on and on. Let us gather.
No way this guy's doing the whole
Chant her glory, Oregon. Roar the praises of her warriors. Telling the story, Oregon. Known to victory.
Get a load of this guy.
Mighty Oregon.
I wonder who he's going to pick.
I don't know.
Oregon Ducks, let's go! Oh, fly Ducks fly. Bo Nix continues his Heisman campaign. Kyrie Jackson probably gets an interception or two. Bucky Irving gets some rushing yards, comes out of the backfield. Gets some receiving yards. Troy Franklin, dear friend of mine. Tez Johnson, Gary Bryant Jr. They all have great games. The Oregon defense is way too good for this phony freaking Washington offense. Tyshim Johnson, Jeffrey Bassa, and DJ Uyunglele's brother, Matayo, gets a sack or two or three. Let's freaking go Oregon Ducks. We will fight on for Mighty Oregon, and Mighty Oregon will win the game.
Dang. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, now we move to the NFL, which I'm not going to lie.
Sorry for my singing. I can't sing, guys.
Oh, no, you're all good. But anyways, we move on to another kind of midweek for the NFL. It's kind of tough when, you have a lot of teams just losing a lot of games.
How many games are we picking?
We are picking 3 games.
Why? There's no good games.
Okay, we are actually, for time and because you actually told me that we were supposed to do 8 and I totally forgot, we're only going to pick 1 game because I think it's the only really, truly good game. And it's going to be the Detroit Lions.
Well, I think the Broncos with the Chiefs is a great game.
And they're going away against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are 3-1. The line is Detroit Lions -3, and the over/under is 45.5. Obviously, this is a non-divisional game, but both these teams were in my rankings as well as Reese's, and then the Detroit Lions are in the top 5 of all of ours. I think this is going to be a great game in Raymond James Stadium. I'm going to go with the Lions, though, to win this game on the road. This Lions team is legit. They're probably the best they've been in, forever since the Barry Sanders days. So I'm going to go with the Lions winning on the road here. Jared Goff has another great game. Aiden Hutchinson gets a sack and probably a fumble recovery return for a touchdown. I'm going to go with the Lions winning this one. Give me them 27-20 winning this one on the road. So beating the over-under just a little bit, and then obviously beating the spread. Give me the Lions on the road. The Lions are going to win this game.
I don't think the Buccaneers win this game at all. Their defense is okay, but I say that the Lions, I saw them today when they played the Panthers. The Lions are just incredibly good, and that's why I put them at 3rd in my top 10, and that's why they're going to beat the Buccaneers. I'm going to say 24-7.
I agree with that pick. I'm gonna have to agree with Max here. I'm gonna have to go to the Lions. Like I said, I didn't have the Buccaneers in my top 10. I just don't believe in Baker Mayfield. Rashad White is really, really bad. Actually, he's not that bad. He just doesn't score any touchdowns. But yeah, give me the Lions winning big. I would say Lions 31-17. I mean, it's just the Lions are way too good for their roster potential. I don't like CJ Gardner-Johnson being out for the Lions, but their D-line will carry them to victory. Go Lions.
And if that's all we have to say for the Prize Picks, that's all we have to say for the podcast. That's going to do it for episode 7 of the Tigers
Oregon,
podcast.
alma mater.
We hope y'all
We
enjoyed
will
it.
guard thee
As we hear
on
Taylor
and on.
singing the Oregon
Let
alma
us
mater,
gather
randomly
round
clapping.
and hear
We had
the
fun filming this
glory
episode. We hope you had
forever.
fun listening.
Lord,
If you're on
the
YouTube,
praises
like,
of
comment, and
her
subscribe. If
in
you're on
the
Spotify or
story,
Apple, rate us 5
Oregon.
stars. Share
Let
it
them
with
do
your friends.
victory,
And also,
urge
if you have any
the heroes
recommendations,
of
send
our
us some
mighty
fan mail to
Oregon.
our email account, hsmassacre@auburnschools.org, and send us fan mail
Go
to
Ducks!
3126.
Go Ducks! For the
And-
O! For the O! Go Ducks! Let's fly, Ducks fly! Go Oregon!
Go Tigers!
Go Tigers.
Thanks for listening to this week's edition of the Tigers Den podcast. New episodes dropping every Monday at 3:30 p.m. Central. Also be sure to check out our other podcast, Play Callers, where we interview a coach from Auburn High School football. Be sure to check out those episodes dropping every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Central on all platforms.